Alrighty, is everything looking good? We don't got overexposed stuff. Commentary, test. That's fine. I just gotta talk louder. Okay, good. That's going. We're good. All right. Managed 8. Bad idea to eat immediately and then stream. Also, I didn't check it if the video looked okay setup wise. If like the angle's all right. Let's see. And click and run to set. Hiya. Oh, yep, way too bright. Give me a minute. God damn it. Also, I didn't turn on this. Very gently turn on that. Is it too bright? Still kind of bright. Still kind of a little bit bright. Yeah. All right. Hopefully that's good. A little more atmospheric. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Hopefully you're doing just fucking the best. Okay. I spent the whole morning making a script, but hopefully it works out. Yeah, man, it's trying to fit a lot of like data kind of stuff into a pack video is difficult. I realize a lot of those breeding guide stuff for what's it called, goddamned Pal World were a little bit lengthy, like 40 minutes, but also. I don't think they're doing what I'm doing, to be clear. Not that I'm much better, but just that I'm trying to tell people, like, okay, go here, do this. Go here, do this. Go here, do this. I think they were just like, here's how breeding works. You need cake, essentially, which is a part of it. But yeah. Anyways, hopefully it's going to work out. Ladies and gentlemen, how was your day? Hopefully it's pretty good. This is Withering Waves, a game I'm looking forward to, but might be let down by. But let's hope it's not the case, all right? Let's hope we're just fucking amped and it's going to work out. Okay, also, goddamn McCrae's one of the first ones here at 12:35, beat Lone even, which is wild. Stuff also popping out a little bit with his cat, his cat emote, which is awesome. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, how was y'all's week, day, and everything? Finally, we can have a good old talk and not be kind of hindered by very fun games that we're currently playing. I will say, I keep seeing footage of that damn, what is it called? Elite Troopers? Or not Elite Troopers, what is it called? Helldivers is what it's called. It looks fun, but I think Fluff, to me at least, I think put it the best. Fluff told me over at Discord, he was saying that it looks really good, like it's really fun, but it seems like it is way more leaning on you needing a competent team to function well within it, which I definitely get the vibe from. It definitely, surprisingly, it's funny because it's like its marketing was trying to get you to believe that it was going to be like a fun, goofy, silly game. You know what I mean? But then the actual gameplay seems really hardcore. So like I don't know how that's gonna work out for them. I feel like that might be like a mismatch on like people are going into this thinking it's something like Earth Defense Force, when in reality it looks like it's like a really grounded, somewhat serious like military shooter where you have to like plan stuff out. Enemies are pretty ravenous, so you gotta like make sure you're covering your sight lines. Kind of like playing Left 4 Dead on max difficulty and stuff like that, you know? But yes. What Crazy says, it does look good, but requires multiple people to... Yeah, exactly what Crazy. That's the same thing what Stuff is saying. Exactly that. It looks awesome, but whenever I see gameplay of it, I'm like, this looks like a lot more than I thought it was. Like, again, why market it like it's supposed to be this goofy fun, oh, we're all dying and it's crazy, when it's not that. The vibe of the game is like, we gotta try hard, buddy. We gotta lock it in. Which, by the way, I don't think like that doesn't work. I totally think that like there's a desire for that. Like it blew me away when I seen how successful a game called Ready or Not is. Or no, GTFO is what it's called. GTFO. It's like this really hardcore, kind of clunky, but still hardcore game where you're like taking on each one of these like paranormal things that take 1,000 shots to kill. And stuff like that. You're like setting up a turret, and that's basically like your main damage source. It's just setting up this turret. It's gonna hopefully kill most of the stuff for you. But anyways, so there's like that. There's clearly a hunger for like people who like these competitive games. I think that's gonna slot in really well. I just think they were also probably trying to capture some of the Earth Defense Force, which is a series that's like keeps going on. Like it looks like it's a PS2 game, but it also does a lot of crazy shit. but I think it sells like crazy anyway. I don't know. I will say I do love the aesthetic. Like I do think if you have a really big, powerful PC that can play Helldivers, you're gonna be eaten, buddy, because it looks super aesthetic. Like you're like walking as your cape's like flickering in the wind, and you have this giant machine gun, and like tons of these fucking gross sand otters are coming to rip your throat out, and you're like, ah, you know, shit looks rad. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, underwear. I got this new underwear. I got it for Christmas, and I kind of been putting off using it, and it's just tighter. You know what I mean? And I may not be that guy. It's too fucking tight. I keep having to pull my underwear off of my, just like latex stuck to my body, and I'm like, get off of me, get out of me, all that. Anyway, I think I might just be a boxers person. There's this weird like hybrid of like boxers and like whatever the underwear where it's just tighter and shit, and I'm like, but I don't know. It's not it for me. Anyways, McCrazy says it also seems to be lacking content somewhat, but I've always disliked any game that requires a full team to beat it, like Destiny. Yeah, well, Destiny 2 is always the one of the things that I agree with you. I also think that you could theoretically have it both ways. So one of the things that always drove me nuts, McCrazy, back in the day when we were playing Destiny, is Bungie refused to do matchmaking. Now sometimes things make sense for that. Like yes, maybe with raids it's a little weird, but it should still be my like overall chance to be like, hey, let me just try, because at least like even if I'm able to get to the first encounter, which is really easy to understand in Destiny, Vault of Glass, whatever it was. I would still I'd at least have one chance every week to get a legendary piece of gear, and if I'm playing the game for a year, which we were, you'd eventually tick enough boxes to where you'd have some gear. You might even have a full set of gear just by going through the first encounter, right? But they never did that, and to me it was even crazier that they never could put matchmaking in Nightfalls. You know, and even crazier than that, to me it's like, if we're gonna keep playing, like Destiny was one of those games where the more you kept playing, the more you just got really, really strong. So eventually, you would have like a competent grenade build where you could just spam grenades constantly, or you would have like the Galahorn or something like that, and you would just nuke. So it's annoying that like you could basically be okay. Like eventually, just by playing enough of the game, people would A, figure out how to do the encounter, and 2, just be able to progress. So to me, I think if Helldiver, and I don't know a lot about Helldiver, but if Helldiver had like a progressive system of like maybe you can make like a godly build in Helldiver, then maybe then you can actually do the whole matchmaking thing. Like, so it's not as bad for you to have to play with people. But I agree. I would much rather have a game optimized for solo play and then adjusted for multiplayer. But it's so disenfranchising when there's a disincentive, whatever the word is, I don't think I said that right, but it's annoying when you're like, I can't play, you won't let me play the game. So yeah, but it looks good, and I think it is going to try to be like, it's going to add stuff over time. Frankly, that just might be the nature of video games at this point, where like most games are just like bog standard, here we go. You know, the last game that I can think of that was that is Dead Island 2, but almost every game is like, we're going to keep supporting it and see how much we can, you know, get out of this. Which I don't hate. It's great when it's a game that you really like. It's just usually the support is never enough for you to be like, you're not doing the Destiny thing where there's always something to kind of keep your attention, kind of, sort of, a little bit. It's Destiny's contentious, but yes. Also, what is good, Red? How are you? How have you been grinding out the Justice League? Has your glitch gotten fixed yet? That's so fucking shitty, man. For you to encounter a glitch like that where it's kind of it's stopping you from playing the game as much as you want, or feeling as what's the word? Like I imagine if you're encountering a glitch where you can't actually play when it comes to the end game, I think. So you're not able to like actually progress at the point where it's the most important to progress in. What's good, Matism? It's been a millennium, Matism. Matism always pops in here every couple months checking on me. What's good, Matism? How are you? How's your life been? What you been up to? All them things. Also, McCrazy, do you still play Destiny 2, I mean? Or are you like me where you're like, I've stepped backwards. You know what I mean? It's too much stuff to deal with. And it sucks because If Destiny never went down like the microtransaction hellscape that it currently exists in, that I dislike heavily, Destiny's like the best example of like, all that we're gonna do is just put skins in the game. And then we're gonna use the money that we make the skins for, and we're gonna make actual content with that money, so it's all gonna work out. And then you're like, but my dude, 80% of the update is new fucking skins. And you specifically make shitty skins the default so that it increases margins. And it's almost impossible to grind something called dust that you then make redundant almost immediately by increasing the cost of it exponentially. So even if I did play it, like at least, again, people give Fortnite a lot of shit. I keep saying at least Fortnite, it's one of the most obvious things where it's like, hey, if you, like I think Fortnite, it was crazy. You can actually always buy the season pass for free if you just play enough. And it's not asking for like 50,000 hours. It's like asking for like, yeah, you just played a couple. But make it like your semi-game and you'll be able to buy the season pass every month. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Also, there's some pretty cool shit in the season pass. Arguably, some of the best stuff is in the season pass. And that makes sense because when you condition your player base to play a lot of your game, you can inflate the Steam numbers, which therefore can give you a lot more bargaining when it comes to like your shareholders and all these things. What is good, Lone Lone? It said, I have returned. We missed you, Lone. Red says, glitch not fixed. Kind of just chilling on Suicide Squad. Only really just leveled the character. Went back to power for now. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I feel like, yeah, it's weird that they haven't given us a day one patch yet, which is usually most games do that. Also, the game's technically been out for like 2 weeks now, because if you got the season, if you got like the bonus expansion, they were able to notice these problems probably pretty early. I think I'm getting hit by allergies. It's lighting me up. From rheumatism. McCrazy says, I enjoy games that are pretty much infinite. Me too! So I can always have something to do. Exactly, yeah. To me, my favorite vibe, man, is listening to a podcast or a stream and playing a game and then just fucking coasting. Maybe getting some tea. Maybe some people like beer, whatever you want to do, and just kind of like, some people like weed, and you're just like, dude, this is fucking nice, you know what I mean? But also, I'm a little bit of a bastard when it comes to like finding the right thing. Like, I'll have my food right on my desk, and it'll be perfect, it'll be just great. But I won't eat it until I find a good video. But sometimes there's fucking nothing good on. Like, some things are too stimulating where like I'm gonna get distracted, my food's gonna get cold because I'm sitting there watching like an asshole, or it's gonna be like, so I don't even care that I'm just gonna get too much of my food and I'm not gonna, you know. Anyway, just finding that right medium is good. And then I oscillate, you know what I mean? Like, I sometimes really like certain podcasts, but then eventually you're like, man, I've been listening to these guys talk for fucking years. Shit. I will say there are a couple podcasts where I think I like podcasts that both talk about like a certain subject, but then also a little bit of something else, like news. Like, as much as people hate drama and all that stuff, it is fun to kind of be like, because I'm pretty good about like staying pretty far away from drama of any kind. I don't have Twitter. I mean, I do. I just don't. I'm not on there ever. So I'm pretty good at staying away from there. So it's kind of nice to have like a third-party translation of crap that's not important, but you're kind of like, it's kind of fun to think about, I guess. Anyways. So I can always have something to grind. I beat the game and give up because of needing others to succeed in raids and then getting stopped. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, also, that was Destiny when you had like a dedicated like friend group, kind of, sort of. I inherited a friend group from one of my friends. One of my viewers, actually. It was one of my viewers who were like, I played some Nightfalls with him. He was a fucking rambunctious black teenager kid who had all the fucking confidence in the world. I remember it vividly. His name was Gaze. Not gay, but Gaze as in look. We always got made fun of for that name. Anyways, he was so good at Crucible that no one gave a shit. Anyways, he was a real good dude. He carried me in a lot of ways, like taking me through the game, introducing me to his like friend group and whatnot, and then I actually got to experience what was essentially the kind of high that is playing a game with like think about it, especially when you're like younger. You come home from school and all of your friends immediately go to a game. A lot of people have this with Modern Warfare, but dude, Modern Warfare, you're like shooting motherfuckers like who are camping and over and over and over again, maybe like grinding out a skin for 20 hours. Destiny at least had like things happening, shit tons of stuff to do. So like that hype of existing in that churn rate of Destiny is pretty amazing. Like the highest high of Destiny, fucking high. If you're not able to get a friend group going, the lowest low feels like demoralizing like crazy, which is not good. But dude, I agree with Crazy. As far as like having a game that you can play infinitely, I'm a person like even though I don't like this trait of myself, I almost never finish a video game that I really like because I don't want it to end, which sounds sad, but like it's something in my brain that says like I don't want like I used to have a big issue doing with anime. Where, like I used to get to episode 8 of every anime and then stop, and it wasn't like I made a choice to. It was like my brain just subconsciously said, and no, let's find something else to look at. Let's get distracted, and then I just kept not finishing shows because I don't want it to end. I want it to end in my mind as like there's always the possibility of me enjoying it more or whatever, which is not good. You want to conclude things, or else you'll just be like half baked all the time. Lone says, "What I missed? We're talking about Helldiver. Looked very cool, but apparently it's way more competitive than the trailers I think let on. Don't know if that's gonna help them or hurt them. And otherwise." Talking about what do you call it, live service games a little bit, things like that. McCrazy says, I'm getting Suicide Squad next week. Let's go! Hopefully we can play together. I'm slow. I'm really worried that like y'all are like, Grin, can you play a little bit on your time? Because we're like fucking at endgame already, day 2. All right, and I'm like, guys, I'll be honest. I want to be there with you, but I don't know. I also had my plan was to have this be a fun background game that we could kind of pick off over a couple weeks. And then you guys were like, I devoured it immediately. I'm like, okay, Jesus. You're getting that Suicide next week, says McCrazy. Hopefully, so I hope we can play. Hell yeah, man, we can grind together. Hell yeah. Also, that's also the other thing. It's like there's ideally going to be like an ever-increasing end game in that game, hopefully. Lone says, oh, I saw this Withering Waves trailer. The character, I'm digging her to do. I'm very into like the whole. We don't get to see too much gameplay here, but it looks good. I think I was hearing someone who basically was saying that like Withering Waves seems like it has a more adult like anime style, meaning like the most of the girls don't look like babies. They look more like women, if that makes any kind of sense. Like fucking sharp ass chin, tall as shit. Most of them, even the young people, still look more mature. Maybe that's a word, more mature art style, which is hilarious because anime just by nature is very soft and like soft. What I would kind of determine to be like childlike in a way. But this one looks a little bit more heavy, you know. Red says, McCrazy, if you don't like FX, by time you get the game and reach endgame, do not play co-op until you complete the end. Yeah. Red has a current glitch going on, which I feel like they'll patch fast. But yes, follow Red's advice a little bit. Just otherwise, well, unless you're playing on PS4, because I think PS4 has like no fucking issues, which is interesting. Lo says, Law, I don't want something too stimulating, or I'm gonna get distracted and my food's gonna get cold. Meanwhile, I try to find something good to watch so my food also gets. Yeah, it's a contra conundrum. It sucks. What's Good Fluff Left says Helldiver 2 isn't competitive. It's just very cool. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think Helldivers, the marketing to me really seemed like it was a goofy, fun, like, crazy, people getting eaten. And then when I see gameplay of it, it looks fucking sick, but it does not look like with the vibe that came from the trailer at all. I see fucking badasses, like, it seems like it should have been hyper edgy and yeah, because I don't really get the goofy vibe. Maybe when you're playing it, you're like, yeah, it's there, Grin. But it definitely feels like that's off. Good team coordination on survival and harder difficulty. Yeah, I think, to me, I can't wait to watch videos of the game, because to me, I think that'd be the best thing to see, is because I really, like, I do think there's a need for, like, games like it. Like, GTFO was a game that really popped off, and I had thought, what a shitty game for having so much players. But, Fluff says no rush. Oh no, McCrazy says no rush. I will grind alongside you. Even hell, yes, go McCrazy. If you don't bother me, if I'm ahead of you, yeah. Okay. Red says, at your rate, Grin, if you only play during streams, it will probably be another week or two before you get to endgame. Maybe we'll do longer streams. I don't know. I am enjoying reacting to the story with you guys because I do think it's a story that's pretty interesting. Like I really enjoy, like when the Flash just fucking rips the shit out of what's his name? Is Superman's enemy Lex Luthor? When he just fucking annihilates him out of his chest, and it's just like. Also, again, I am sad that we lost the Flash because I think out of all the bad guys that I've seen, the Flash was the one that I thought had the funnest power for fucking with you, essentially. So it sucks that he was the first one to go. More mature characters, fits the darker. Yeah, but then there's stuff like this where you see like certain aspects where it's like, okay, I think it's just way more interested in doing like contrast because this looks very pretty. Storm not so much, but she's like doing meditation stuff, right? Like a beautiful, bright, vibrant scenery. So I do think there's going to be like this cool contrast, whereas I think most of Genshin is set by themes. So like each location is a theme, and it's usually like doesn't deviate from that theme unless it's like continental essentially. Lone says, me and Red and Fluff just blitzing through. I know you guys have a gluttony that I can't. I don't even think I ever had. I'll be honest. Like yeah, it's true. Fluff also started a little bit early. Although I still think y'all blitz compared to me, where I very much, again, it's the same premise of like when I'm really enjoying something, there's a part of me that wants to slow down and like step away because that way I'll still be enjoying it. I don't have like the desire to be like often. I don't have the desire like if I'm really enjoying something to just do more and eat tons of it because I like knowing that it's always there. And I do know that by virtue of me doing a lot of it, it starts to get a little bit consuming or like less, I guess, sometimes. I will say the one exception with that was Withering Waves, or not Withering Waves. Power. Power was the only game in recent memory where I did like. I think in the first week I spent, or the first 2 days I spent like 12, 15 hours in it, which is abnormal for me. Red says I did not blitz either. I had 30 hours of playing time once I reached the end game. That to me is not guys. I think within the first 2 to 3 days, you got to end game. Okay. Now if it's a 12-hour game, that means maybe it's not that bad. But no, 30 hours across 3 days is still pretty good. It's still a pretty dominant amount of playtime. Okay. I'm averaging like maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. Best I got. Yeah, you enjoy. Yeah, I like it. I like hanging out with the story, watching the story as well. I think that's fun. Although there is a VR game I really want to play with you guys, but I think it can be. It's like it's not time specific. It's like a cute Papers, Please kind of S game, which I think we could play at any time. But it's a fun VR game. I think it's actually it would be good for streaming in terms of like us. Same thing. Us be reacting to the story. We're making fun of these robots. We're probably gonna get targeted in the future because AI is popping off. Anyways, we'll be okay. I'm the only one at fault. My face is on screen. We could probably knock out another JL member next stream. So if we do boss per stream, it'll take 3 more streams. Oh, that's not that bad. Lone says, also Withering Waves is said to be coming to PS5, so I don't have to play on more. Hell yeah, let's go, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Took Genshin a little bit of time to get that cooking. Also, what's good? Matism says, that's why I say please and thank you to all robots and whatnot. I mean, I've said that before even the whole AI thing was a thing. I just thought, why be an asshole to something that even, I don't know what you want to call it, emulating humanity? I don't know. I say that, when I kill a bug, I say sorry because it's fucked up. I don't know, why do I get to live? He doesn't get to, I don't want to have him crawl on me and hurt me and be in my space. I might be evil. It's fine. I apologize. Killed, dead. And yeah. Darker tone doesn't mean lacking momentary moments of levity. Yeah, I also hope it's not pitch black, moody as hell all the time. So I'm trying to be like, I hope there are moments when it's the sun is out and it looks nice, and it's not like, fuck, it's just dark as hell all the time. Like moody, I mean. McCrae said, I heard we was going to get a lot more story, and we don't kill actual Justice League, but actually copies of them. Maybe. That'd be cool. Well, they're doing the whole weird DC, like, yeah, like I mean, honestly, I think Suicide Squad's been in development for a long ass time. So, like, I think they actually came up with a lot of this, like, well, wait, theoretically, there could be, like, these dimensions where, like, if there's another Luthor, and theoretically, like, you could play as, Mrs. Boomerang, or whatever her name is, because maybe, we already went into another dimension where that was, who's to say that she doesn't come to our dimension? At this point, I'll be honest, there's probably a reason why they went with, like, jokes and levity as their storytelling metric, because it's the only thing that can kind of survive in this, like, meaningless world, essentially, of, like, fuck it, this guy's here, and now this guy's here, and now this person that was dead is not dead anymore, and this is the evil version of that person, and you're like, okay, what is going on? Yeah, the Riddler stuff, I was shocked at how quick that is. Just the movement is so good in that game that it just feels fast. Left said, the next year of content for the game is more story, bosses, environments, and play. Yeah, I thought I seen, like, the map looked like it could eventually be expanded, which is neat. I will say, though, I am a little disappointed. Fluff did share with me the ending roadmap kind of thing, and it looks like we're getting fucking Jared Leto Joker, alright? Which I know there's probably going to be skins that make him not that, but what the fuck, man? Are we going to have damage on the face? Also, how is that going to work with Harley? Is it like, Harley seems like our version of Harley is the one that's like, I'm done with this son of a bitch. I'm my own independent woman kind of vibe. She's not saying that, what's it called? God damn it. She's not saying that the Joker, she's like, I'm not a sidekick is what she was saying at the very beginning. So I don't know how that dynamic is going to go. It'd be really weird. It would be kind of brutal if there were, like, undertones, domestic fuckery, domestic violence shit with her and Joker, and we're just awkwardly, like, the whole gang is sitting there like, this doesn't feel right. And I'm bad. I'm a bad guy, but this seems pretty not right. Ooh, some character with Brainiac tech. That'd be interesting. For Season 3, and what looks like Deathstroke for Season 4. Yeah, that's also weird. I'm not sure how the dynamic is going to go with Deathstroke and what's his name? The other guy. I do think it'd be cool if it was a character that was ultimately pure melee. That'd be really neat. Maybe like they summon, maybe that'd be the Brainiac person who has like, because you still need to be able to use guns. I think it'd be cool if it was a person that had really good traversal and really good at meleeing things. Shark is kind of like that, but even when I was playing him for the 2 seconds that I played him, I didn't play him enough. But his melee does not seem like it's like made to be dominant gameplay. It still seems like you're meant to have a turret machine gun and just like rip people up, you know? Pretty fun. You go into the world. I lost others. Chat's moving, boy. I can't keep up. High mastery level, you reach the better the rewards when you leave. But Crazy says, is it really difficult? What is? Which one? And there's a theory that Brainiac has cloned the JL. Who's JL? So the other Justice League. So the other ones we kill might be the real ones. The future might have us save the Justice League. Ooh! That would be kind of cool. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I will really say, I didn't expect to like the Flash as much. Like even the Flash, like they did really cool things where like he still saved you. You know what I mean? Even though he's kind of like a rambunctious dickhead or whatever, he still was like, no, I'm gonna not. You guys are criminals and bad guys, but I still don't want your guys to die. There's plenty of moments at the beginning where he saved our ass. And then we give him to the bad guys, and we fucking take his finger as well. We're just like, yeah, I feel weird about what's happening. Red says, the only Joker I've ever liked is Mark Herman's. Yeah, the guy's Joker, yeah. and he's not Jared Leto version. They went for a somewhat fresh Joker that is a throwback to the... he very much looks like the slicked back hair with the damage on his forehead kind of vibe. Like more like a mafia boss rather than like clown, which I don't know which one I prefer. I don't know. Fluff says Deathstroke and Deadshot are very different. In terms of like guns or what? Deathstroke is almost exclusively a gun person. I don't know. I've always liked Red Hood. That one to me, I don't know if that's gonna be a thing, but that'd be neat. But Crazy says I usually don't like time challenges, but isn't too hard. I will enjoy. Oh yeah, I mean I don't know exactly yet, but it seems like a lot of the momentum challenges were pretty easy to get like max star. If that's what I'm talking about. But yeah. Ruff says Deathstroke is what Deadpool was a parody of. Oh, but then why did he have katanas if he's predominantly gun? Oh, dude, it'd be cool if we could have a Deadpool type vibe. Although I don't know, Deadpool's also a very hard character to do because like. Yeah, Captain Boomerang, they're doing a good job at right now where like I both hate him and think I don't want him not to be in the party. You know, he's annoying-ish, but then there's moments where I'm like, yeah, he seems like the most real of the heroes, you know what I mean? Or of the villains, whatever, the misfits, where he's just too comfortable being himself, essentially. Red says the Joker I dislike the most is was in the Dark Knight, followed closely by the Joker. Really? Oh, I've really enjoyed the one, but I've never been a very big Batman. Like I remember the Batman TV series a little bit, but I've never been into that too much, which is yeah, not because I wouldn't have been, just because I never had the chance. My brothers never told me when it was on, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just play outside. Again, I was very much the kid who was like outside doing shit constantly, and then when I got older, I'm like, that's awful. It's not that anymore. Flo said it's not too hard. Your character grows in power as you level and the gear them up. Yeah, I will say, I don't know what I prefer, dude. I'm curious what you guys think. I never thought I would say this when I was playing Borderlands 1. Where it took you like in one whole playthrough that took you maybe like 30 to 40 hours, you maybe seen like 2 legendaries, if that, in Borderlands. Super rare, okay? But when you got a fucking legendary, holy shit, were they completely different than everything else. I think right after playing Borderlands 1, I would have fucking loved the drop rates in Suicide Squad. But I am getting to the point where I don't like that almost every fucking 20 minutes I have a legendary to get. And maybe I'm just getting lucky. I don't know. And you guys never replied if like their story quests just have a high probability of giving you a legendary or if I'm just getting lucky. But still, I'm kind of like, well, man, this is too much. Like I get, maybe you why don't we just take legendaries, keep gold special, make gold exotic or whatever, or like ultra unique or something, but then make legendary still good. Like why can't we have, like why not do that? Let's take all of the legendaries in Borderlands 1, make them rare, or not rare, purple, whatever it is, purple, so purples can fucking have a time to shine, and then bang! The next thing we do, we make them even crazier. You know, we up the ante. Words. So what's good, Yondo? And it says, hello, how is the stream? Oh, fucking amazing, Yondo. Better now that you're here, Yondo. Thank you for being here. We're talking about Suicide Squad and the future of it. Red says, I actually prefer Jared Leto, Joker. What? Rather than the previous one, that's crazy. I've never heard that take in my whole life. Also, I missed Fluff's comment about goddamn the Deadshot, or not Deadshot, what was it called? The Boomerang, which I want to read. They're different characters. Deadshot is firearms specialized that never misses. Ooh, okay. Oh, I.e. Deadshot is more like the ninja assassin. Oh, Deadshot and Deadstroke. Oh, I see. I missed. It's just on my brain. Horrible combination for dyslexia, man. Jesus Christ. Deadshot, Deadstroke. Brain just says they're the same word. Move on. Okay. Deadstroke is more like a ninja assassin. He used blades, pistols, SMGs. So is that there's like a weird rivalry with Deadshot? No, what is it named? Isn't it? Is Deadshot? Yeah, Deadshot. Deathstroke. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. I think I was getting confused with Deadshot and Deathstroke. My brain was just reading them as the same person. McCrazy says, if I get a legendary weapon early, should I keep them and level them up? So, well, it depends on what stats I imagine they have, because I do think you can raise the level of a legendary weapon, which is neat. So, like, if you wanted to use a legendary weapon that you got at the beginning of the game, you theoretically could just level it up, I think, and then have it at the end of the game. The issue is that legendaries are not the most legendary. Actually, maybe the thing I just said did kind of happen. I just said, wouldn't it be nice if in Suicide Squad they made it so that legendaries were still really good, and instead now there's like an up the ante on legendaries. So basically, I still want legendaries to be really, really rare and really, really good, but theoretically, I think they did that in the game. So now, but instead of it being legendary, it's this fucking pink color of whatever, which is like a new rarity. But that rarity has a set bonus. So I think legendaries have an intrinsic effect, which is pretty nice, like crazy good critical damage, or when you shoot an enemy, you have a chance of summoning a grenade, maybe. But then there's these pink rarity that is like, if you have 3 of these weapons equipped, or armor or whatever equipped, you get this unique effect, like being able to be immune for 2 seconds when you pick up a shield or whatever the hell it could be. But I do think you should keep your legendaries, McCrazy, because I think the thing that you're looking at is the stats on them. I don't know if you level them up, the stats increase exponentially, or if you get a low level legendary, if it's gonna be like, oh, you get 13% grenade damage. But then, like, that's terrible when you get to endgame and then now it's 60% grenade damage. I don't know. Or maybe just when you scale up the level of it, it auto scales the the grenade passive attribute. Does that make sense? I hope so. Fluff says white, green, blue, purple, pink, gold, pink, red. Oh, I didn't know that. So that's so much. Pink. There's another one besides pink? There's red? Jesus Christ. There's a rivalry between them because they're both assassins. Oh, I see. That makes sense. So we are talking again. So Deadshot's all about guns. Deathstroke is a little bit about ninja shit. Is that correct? Red says, I actually really love the legendaries in Suicide Squad more than the Nutris and Infamy weapon, because legendaries have the nano enhanced system. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna add. Yeah, but again, that to me is like a pretty smart thing for the developers to do. Like, where it's like, hey, one of the things that's always annoying in any game with legendaries is that there's always something better that you can get. So you're constantly like, oh, what the fuck, dude? Why are you introducing pearlescence in Borderlands? Like, fuck me, dude. Like, I get we're trying to get the rarity thing back, but it made everything else shitty, you know, or weird. Whereas that makes more sense of like, oh wait, what if we make legendaries more modular, and then we make these other ones more theme based, so playstyle based? That makes sense. I will say, for how themed and all that stuff is, it would make much more sense for you to run out of ammo faster than you do. Because right now I have had 0 ammunition issues, just using the same weapon forever. Maybe it's because I'm killing things with melee and that gives you bullets. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like it would make sense for there to be sparse ammo so that you had the incentive to switch weapons and use your infamy set and then use your legendary again. Because right now it just doesn't seem like you can use one weapon the whole time, it seems like. What's the Faceless? Faceless says, Withering Waves, the next Genshin killer, question mark? Hypothesis? Crazy drama? Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I think Genshin's killing itself, to be honest. Genshin's like, I'll do it myself. Drags a giant knife across its chest. I don't know, man. I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, man, thank God that other one is happening, the Star Rail, because people are liking Star Rail a lot more than Genshin at this point, which is crazy. Because Genshin essentially dropped like the most momentum you could have, essentially. Although again, Genshin always makes the most sense of like why they chose what they chose. Of like, if you're making $1 billion, like $5 billion a month or something, and you were once making 10 million a month or whatever it was, your main goal is just to not slow that down as much as possible. So if you could make a choice that could theoretically make it all come crashing down, you're not going to make that choice. You're just going to make whatever is the safest choice, so that maybe, oh, we made, instead of 5 billion, we made 4.5 million. And they're like, yeah, it's still billions of dollars. I meant to say billions. You know what I mean? Fluff says, don't call it a killer. That sets it up to fail. Yeah, I don't think it's a killer either. I also think, again, Genshin's killing itself. I think, I'll be honest, man, a lot of these, I've yet to see a Genshin competitor that has even tried, like, really. Like, the only thing that comes to mind is the one game that we played, which was really, really fun, but it was missing something. I hate that I can't find what it was exactly. What is it called? It's like an MMO. But I can't think of it. But yeah, there hasn't actually been that many Genshin competitors that do exactly what Genshin does. Like even ZZZ, I wouldn't consider to be a Genshin competitor. This is like the only game that I'm like, this is very much like Genshin, but just more mature. And I think people are probably ready for that because of how much kumbaya there is in Genshin. Crazy says, I hoard a horde weapon. So it drives me crazy. Yes, I know. To figure out what to do with underpowered weapons for higher rank. Yeah, man. No, we same person, but crazy. I'm sitting there like, but what if? But what if? That's why, like in almost every game I play that is like a Fallout or a Bethesda or an Elder Scrolls or whatever, I always give myself max money because I hate. Like I'm so bad at like doing the inventory managing because I want to keep everything, and I don't want to like. I don't want to just have a shit ton of stuff in my inventory all the time, so then I just give myself a bunch of money, so it's just like, we're only going to collect the best, you know? And I try not to be too gluttonous when it comes to buying shit in stores. Lone says, depending on your build, you might be better off using legendaries and then neutral. Ooh, that's interesting. Until I imagine they eventually give you like a proper set, which is cool. Fluff says, so can reroll stats nano enhance to increase accuracy, stability, zoom, critical damage, and reload. That's crazy. The fact that they threw critical damage in there is nuts, because critical damage is like, yeah, that's the one thing that I've seen that is which is good, that it's so crazy. Like the difference between shooting a helicopter and shooting it in the crit spot is like fucking night and day. Especially if you have a sniper rifle, you can like take down a helicopter in 2 shots, which is rad. It's like Doom Elemental getting the close when you kill a foe. Yeah, I do think they did a good job about that. I might be accidentally doing the ammo takedowns, which I'm not necessarily intending to do. Red says, oh, on Harley, I nearly never use my secondary weapon because the minigun, I don't like Harley's secondary option. I want shotgun. Yeah, no, shotgun's awesome. Shotgun, if I could have my ideal, it'd be shotgun and minigun. Although it's funny because like, I also like the, I'm not sure. I think the revolver might be the same thing as the sniper, where it has high critical damage. So maybe that's what I would want, is the shotgun and the revolver. But the shotgun and the minigun, dude, I think there's a reason why it's not in the game, is because, let me tell you, as a person who's using the shotgun a lot, fucking crazy that you would just go up to someone and go, and just destroy someone like crazy. And I know there's going to be a legendary that, like, has crazy critical damage. So if you're just able to crank, like, 5 pellets to do high critical damage to someone's head, god damn, that's going to be crazy. Basil says, Fluff, I hope so, because a lot, Tower Fantasy was good for hyping them down. I Star Rail more than the Genshin. Either way, same company, getting that cash. Yeah, a little bit. Shaking my head is just, SMGs is just mediocre compared to the minigun, and the pistols are kind of meh so far. Yeah, I have, the only reason I'm not too eager to, yeah, Tower Fantasy was what I meant. Faceless. That's a game I feel like was missing something. But also I don't think it was similar enough to Genshin as far as its like loop as I would like. It didn't nail the content thing. Like I never felt like there wasn't stuff to do in Tower Fantasy. I did feel like that's something that's so good about Power World is, at least to me, I always feel like I never felt like I was overwhelmed when I very well should have. Like I always felt like, oh, I'm gonna just capture pals. Oh, I'm gonna build my base. And oh, I'm gonna go explore. Oh, I'm gonna go. Oh, I found these dungeons. What are dungeons? So like it does a really good job about drip feeding you stuff. Tower Fantasy, I feel like there was like, what is there? There's so much shit to do. What should I do first? What am I supposed to do? How do I? Like it felt very much like and that's like every MMO's problem where they're just like, hey, you'll figure it out, you know, and you're like, ah. But the only reason why I'm not so sure that SMGs and all that stuff should be equated downwards or upwards is because there might be a legendary or a special thing that like sends it, you know what I mean? Which doesn't mean SMGs aren't just net a certain way, but it does mean that like, ah shit, this SMG might be like crazy because it never has to reload, you know? And then you could like just pump fire rate or something. Fluff says, oh, I keep losing comments, ladies and gentlemen. If you want me to read something, repost it, please. The cat chat has been moving like a fucking mile a minute. Red says, I have no issue with the minigun, the grenades, pop one, but even without the nades, it still kills fast for me. I have never ran out of ammo for my minigun. Yeah. Lone says, I hate the helicopters. Why? Oh, I do. Yeah, they do sometimes just nuke you. I don't like the snipers because they always make me like feel like, am I gonna get shot? Like I wish there was like if they added a strobe to the sniper beam where it, like they're locked onto you and then it goes strobe, 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 strobe. That's when you're supposed to dodge. That'd be neat. Because right now I'm like, are you gonna shoot? When do I dodge? If I just like slide to the left, will you miss? I don't know. Love says for pistols, GCPD and LexCorp are my preference. Ameritrex is the, you fucking already memorized all the goddamn brands, golly. Pistols and Stark Labs is a burst fire. Okay, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so legendary actually look better than a lot of legendaries based on just what Fluff just told me just then. So like there's pistols that are defined by their manufacturer, and their manufacturer makes those pistols significantly different. That's pretty neat. Fluff says it depends on the brand of minigun you have, Red. If it's Americana, it's likely is doing the highest damage potential. Ooh. Faceless says, I am excited also for Monster Hunter Wilds. It looks amazing. Dude, I don't know what it is, but I still have like, again, Power World to me is the thing that like made everything come together. Like I always wondered why I like Monster Hunter, but I don't like love Monster Hunter. Like I enjoyed it. I remember we played it back in the day. I had a ton of fun playing, I think, with Fluff at the time, and I think Nub. It was very fun, but it is like missing something. And then I think it's just that I wanted all of it, which is the problem. Which was like I not only want to capture these dinosaurs, I want them to be my friend and them to do shit that's useful. And then I also want to wear them. I'm sorry, I'm sick. And have like cool armor, cosplaying a fucking gigantic dinosaur demon. And then also, I want to be able to ride them and shit like that. And then Power Worlds was like, done. I'll do all of that, thank you very much. And I'm like, oh my god, holy shit. But I know a lot of people who play Monster Hunter really just like the hunt, you know? And it sucks because Monster Hunter has like a lot of the vibes and anime aesthetic that I love without it being an anime aesthetic. It's weird. I am destroying my coffee. While Bane's weapons are technically using Star Labs models, but don't act as them. Got it. It's just them kind of trying to move stuff around. Y'all be throwing out things like Black Mask and shit. Oh. Red says it has 350 magazine. Well, fucking what? What? I never run out of bullets. Well, I guess if it's a percentage based of like, yeah, when you pick up a magazine or like a bullet node, it's like 10% of your magazine. And then if you have a fucking gigantic magazine with a ton of fire rate, then golly. I do find it weird that Harley and King Shark are the ones rocking the biggest fucking weapon on the planet. Like Harley has no lore about her being like super strong in any capacity, I don't think. But yet she's holding like a fucking 20, not 20, like a probably 10-ton thing. I do think I don't know. I do think I would prefer playing Harley over King Shark though, because I think Harley has much more. She's much more leaned into like gadgets, probably grenades as well as having a minigun, which is pretty rad. Which the King Shark, I don't really like. His movement is probably my favorite, not my favorite, but his movement is awesome. I actually didn't hate dead shots. Jesus Christ. Plus got me thinking about Deathstroke and shit now. But yeah, I didn't really hate his movement. I thought it was fine. If you could increase the speed of his thruster, then I thought it'd be actually pretty cool because you can kind of just go anywhere. I do think it's likely the least fast, which is probably why it's less good. Fluff says it's probably an Americana. No, for me, it has preset parts. Some legendaries receipts are preset brands, whilst others are random. Okay, man, yeah, this sounds like the legendary farm stuff is like some of the best I've ever seen it done. Which most people like never learned the lessons of Borderlands 2, which had some of the best, like not only were there manufacturers, which were really important, but there were also traits to those manufacturers that were really nice. And in Borderlands, was it the not the pre-sequel? Borderlands, no, it was Wonderland, where they added not only is there legendaries, but there are stats tied to each legendary. So in order to get the perfect legendary, you need to get it to drop, but then you need to get all the stats to be like perfect. And that's really, to me, like, I've always liked that. I would prefer if there was some mechanic where you could have changed 2 stats on the thing. So like if you got reload speed, critical damage, and then damage, maybe not damage, but maybe like accuracy or something like that. Maybe you could change accuracy to be something else that you would want. That way that's a little bit less crazy RNG, you know what I mean? So it's the highest power with the trade-off with the lowest accuracy. Ah, let's see. Fesa says, lol, damn. I want to capture you, skin you, and wear you, and be your friend, and ride you. All of it, and build a house, and maybe capture human beings. Okay, we're getting a little bit. we're now a sick person. We're sick person. Have you guys seen the base in Power World that basically dude made a village? He captured all of the NPCs in the world, and then made like a wonderful village castle, and then just put all of the humans he had in his one base. So it's literally like a wonderful, vibrant village, which you're like, oh, dude. It's like, again, one of my favorite things for Power World is just walking around being like, they could do this, they could do that. Like, there could totally be a mod author who's just like, you know what? I'm gonna make a village, and then just makes a fucking beautiful, like, wonderful village, and you're like, damn. Now I just downloaded that, or they added that, or some crazy shit, and boom. Crazy. But Crazy says, I really like Monster Hunter, and can't wait for the new one. Ooh, man, I gotta give more love to the Monster Hunter thing. I just find, like, I don't know, I feel like it's not quite made for me, if that makes any sense, you know? Fluff says, Deadshot Jetpack is the most reliant on talents and some later legendaries to have more feel. Ooh, okay, I see, makes sense. But it also makes sense for him basically being able to be in the air constantly. You know, that's his whole shtick. But once you get the upgrades, he feels great to zip around with. Yeah. I feel like he'd feel very much like an Iron Man with a gun instead of a hand cannons thing. Fluff says he's the easiest to stay aerial with. Yeah. Harley been second easiest. I wonder why Harley's the second easiest. Can she like stay on her zip line and shoot maybe? Huh. That kind of makes sense. I am not the easiest to stay aerial. I can go places fast, but man, do I drop like a normal human being. Fluff says every weapon that nano enhanced will have 3 points to upgrade for each of those air formation stats. Okay, am I reading that right? I didn't know that. So there's upgrades. Oh, I guess that makes sense. So if you had like legendaries and whatnot, if you had legendary shields or legendary skills or whatever it could be, those also have like the same modulation where you could like enhance them like weapons for legendaries. Red says, not being airborne gets you killed a lot, at least from my experience. Yeah. Well, I think staying in movement does a lot too. Just constantly staying in movement. I will say, I am annoyed that you can't do a dash as Captain Boomerang. I don't like that you can't do like a quick dash and then do a slide. That's annoying. The fact that I do it then and I just do a roll, it looks dumb. You know, I want to be able to slide. Fluff says Shark can jump good, but he's very little to keep him in. Oh, what do you call it? He has very little to keep him in the air. Oh, I see. I got you saying. Fluff says so. It's probably the most active to maintain those airborne buffs. Gotcha. Red says I love Shark, but yeah, cannot maintain air time. Oh no. Fluff says most hunters wields will probably be sold. Most Monster Hunter wilds will probably be sold re-entry points. What's that? Sorry. Monster Hunter wilds will be a solid re-entering point. Says Fluff. Yeah, Deadshot does feel like a warm machine. What? Oh, like war machine. I mean. Fluff says yeah. Yes, she can hang. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah, and she can also just like sway, right? So I imagine it's even harder for enemies to shoot you. But just Harley can stay on the air and the grapple hook for like 10 seconds or so. Wow. Fluff says so. I do think Boomerang has the least talent providing him buffs for being airborne. Yeah, I do have one that's pretty nice. That's I just got. I think it's like when you're in the air and you use a melee, you do more damage. Which I'm like, that's nice. That's nice. I still hate that I can't rebind R3. It drives me nuts. It's locked to center your camera. Who the fuck needs that? As like it has to be equipped. Like I get the fact that like maybe your joysticks have to be in this right slot, but it's just dumb, stupid, idiot shit. Anyway. Machine, the slide, the mechanic is really finicky. I don't know why I'm yawning so much, man. Jeez, I just drank half my coffee too, so my body's just like, die, die. I often like to stand on my grapple hook with Harley and just shoot up shit. Faceless says, Harley main means you love big guns and buns. Okay. I was about to say, what? Oh, okay. I will say, I haven't seen too many of Harley's outfits, and I'm like, that one's clearly the best. You know? A lot of them, I think I actually like the starter one quite a bit. Not the prison one, the second one. Fluff says, because you have to press the side button when you hit the ground. Oh, you mean when you land. So technically I'm still my feet are on the ground, gotcha. Fluff says, too early or late, and you just fail, and you just roll. Oh, weird. So it is like a weird. I gotta like teleport and then time the drop. Weird. So it's awkward when I'm also using the thumb and pinky for space, shift, and control. Oh, well, yeah, you're using a keyboard. I'm using controller. And to me, it's annoying that like grenades are so good, and I think as Captain Boomerang, they're like one of your main things, where he just uses them. I feel like I have like 6 abilities where it's like. You get a grenade when you kill someone. When you kill someone with a shotgun, you have a chance of summoning a grenade on them and like exploding. And I'm like, which also makes sense. Captain Boom, Erang. It makes, I guess, some sense. But anyways, it's annoying that I can't use my grenades. It's fucking B. So like, I need to aim while I'm throwing my grenade, and both the buttons that they give me that are your triggers, that are usually grenade buttons, are movement abilities, which you need more than the grenade. So you're like, Jesus Christ. Maybe you could get away with putting your like teleport on B. Maybe. I don't know. I could maybe use my middle finger in that way, maybe. I've also have so much muscle memory pressing that button that for rolling and shit, my brain's gonna be racked if I do that. Slide, dodge, roll. Just awkward. I don't have a better idea. Better key for that. Yeah. It's annoying finding the whole perfect setup. So I have people like a mouse with like 16 buttons on them. And you're like, Jesus Christ, but I get it. Red says, understandable, Fluff. Fluff says, controls likely feel better by comparison. Yeah, probably. To me, it's like, it's not that it's the controller's bad. It's just that we're so close to greatness. If you just let me make R3 a grenade throw, it'd be fucking perfect, you know? And the worst part about it, like, oh, well, Grim, maybe you could go into like your Steam account, switch, make B and R3 the same button or something. But then I'm just going to be recentering my camera whenever I hit B, essentially, you know? Dumb. Dumb. Maybe I could make B, O, and O, B? Maybe? Maybe then? Dog's popping off. Basis says, GRINN, any good anime shows you found? Faceless. I hate to do this to you, buddy, but I was gonna talk about this when we also I'm probably gonna leave comments behind because I'm gonna go on this tangent. Forgive me. Repost please if it's I probably want to read them, so probably repost. Anyways, man, I want to talk to you guys about this when we were playing Power World yesterday, but like, I love anime so much. It's my main. It was for such a long time. It's been my main like source of entertainment across the board. And I still do love anime. Like I'm not like I don't hate it. But man, I never would have thought. I said this once, said it a million times. I never would have thought that I was the guy who is like, I'm really enjoying manga, which I'm not. I'm enjoying manhwa with color essentially. There's a phase that I've been just reading a ton of manhwa. And last week we had this lovely gentleman pop in here, talk to me about some manhwa that he's been reading. I gave him some of the ones I think are goated and fantastic, and he gave me some ones that he thought was goated and amazing. One's called Omniscient Reader, which I just started. It's awesome. The premise is basically, guy ends up following this novelist essentially, and this novelist is a psychopath who made 3,000 chapters of his novel. And as the guy's been reading this novel for like 10 years, he realizes that he's like the only view on the novel, basically. And he's been writing him nice comments the whole time, being like, hey man, I'm not very wealthy, so I can't give you a donation even though I want to. But I just want to tell you, really enjoying the story, thank you so much. And he can see that like, no one made it past 1,000 chapters, like no one did. But he did, he made it all the way to the very end, 3,000 chapters, crazy. And then, you guess what happened. He gets to the very end of the book, which the book series is 3 Ways to Survive in the Apocalypse is what the book is called. Anyways, basically the book ends up happening. So now he knows the entire book, and the author, as soon as he finished the book, basically sent him an email saying like, hey, appreciate what you did by reading my work. Sent you a little gift, and it's like the whole manuscript of the book. And then he takes the book offline. And then the book starts happening. It's the same shit that you've seen in any kind of other Japanese kind of like fantasy, modern day fantasy situation where like omnipotent god. It's actually really cool. Basically, each galaxy essentially has a god. Like there's this galaxy is where Wukong god appeared. This galaxy is where Thor was. This galaxy is where this is. So it's not that these mythoses don't exist. It's just that they're across their given galaxy. Or dimension, you could say. So then there are these gods that are basically, let's make a TV series about like torturing bugs, essentially. So then Earth is a bug to them. So then they basically get all these bugs together, and they have them participate in like these horrible scenarios of like fighting zombies and shit. And then the other gods, like Sun Wukong and things like that, can give them coins to then level themselves up and give them a chance to improve. And they're basically choosing their incarnation, essentially. Because the more your incarnation does and the people learn about, the more that god makes money, more makes coins, essentially. So you want to have a lot of incarnations, so you have a lot of coins because you increase your godly notoriety, things like that. It's a really fun system. And then you're just watching the main character who like knows the story's happening play out. He's trying to position himself because he's not like a godly. He knows that the main protagonist in the story is like, he's a regressor. So he's been doing this like 50 times, and he's like, fuck, this guy's on his like third regression. He's insane. This is the insane run. He's coming to kill me. He's killing everyone. Why do I have to be? Why isn't this the one that we're doing? Anyways, the point is that it's a pretty good goddamn thing. It's also got 200 chapters to read for the manga. So I'm enjoying it. It's very good. But it is also a pretty dark. Like again, it's like the main character. The first trial is the main character is in a subway. What's it called? Subway train. And the god appears, and it basically traps them in each subway train. It says, you need to kill one life form in order to make it to the next trial. So then there's a lot of bickering. It's very much like they akin to the Dark Knight in that Joker scene. But anyways, there's one psychotic person on the bus who's like, I just want to kill. And then the main character ends up like finding out that, what do you call it? This one kid has like a bunch of locusts. He's a kid who likes collecting bugs. So he takes the kids who likes collecting bugs, takes one of his grasshoppers essentially, puts it in the kid's hand because he's not an asshole. He's not good. The main character's not good in this story, but he's not evil. Like he's like, okay. And it's really refreshing actually because he's fair. Whereas like I'm not gonna take this kid's fucking lifeline, break all the bugs, theoretically have beaten the encounter and gotten a ton of coins because more you kill, the more coins you get. The more coins you get, the more you can level up. Anyways, so he gives the kid one of his grasshoppers. He's like, crush it in your hands. You've gotten past the encounter. You're fine. You don't need to kill another human being. You're good. But then the main character's big brain, and he has an insect that has like a bunch of babies inside of her. So then he crushes the insect. He gets like 1,000,000 coins because there's like 1,000,000 eggs in this grasshopper or something like that. And then everyone in the comments of that chapter were like, it says kill living organisms. Why? If anyone had hand sanitizer or soap in their purse or something, you would just become a millionaire, you know. But it does balance out. We learned that like, if you kill, he ended up getting like a ton of coins for killing the grasshopper, and then they reduced it because it wasn't actually human life. Stuff like that. It's a good book. It's a good book. I'm enjoying it. I still haven't finished Solo Leveling though. I got 50 chapters left, and it's happening again. That thing I told you about, how I don't like finishing things, it's starting to happen where my brain's like, maybe we just find a new story. And I'm like, no, I want to know what happens. Anyways, thank you for letting me ramble about manga. Love you. Red says, I have my dodge and slide. Oh, I know, on the back paddles. I was about to say, Red's going to be one of these fucking people who have these one of these things. Man, I think I have one, but it just never worked out. It also, those things are either like a lot of money or they're like a scam. And I think I got about the scam one, the one that was like both a decent amount of money, but also like the joystick things just got gross and old and didn't work anymore. Lone says, Grin, you telling me you don't like the outfit my Harley was rocking? I'm not sure if I don't like the outfit. I don't like the hairstyle that she was rocking. The bald, I like actually like it looks cute, like the slide over with the bald side head the women have. That looks hot, nice, wonderful. But the Harley who was like mostly bald with like this weird top bit, that was a lot. That was a lot to look at. Fluff says Harley's best hairdo are the Fugitive Default and her Rogue. Her Rogue outfit, I wonder what it would be. Fluff says the throwback twin tails aren't bad either. Yeah, I was about to say the weird like mask one is a lot, but it looks neat. Faceless says, you raise your hands, fellow Harley yes, raise your hands, fellow Harley loves. But I will say, Faceless, I was going to actually talk to Lone about this, but I still don't know because I'm really enjoying that manhwa, so I don't want to be on the hook for watching an anime yet. I'll get back into it. But I'm recently reading this. Oh man, for those of you guys who've been watching me for a long time, you guys are going to be like, Grin, shut up. I've heard this literally before, okay? One of my favorite books of all time. Like if anyone ever asked me, like, hey Grin, what's the book that would define who you are today, kind of thing? Like a book that helped you become better, a book that helped you start self-improvement, a book that helped you do anything like exercise, anything that's slightly hard. What would be that book? To me, it's always one book. And I've read a lot of amazing books. You guys have heard me ramble about a lot of them. I still adore those books. But this has always been the one book where I go back to and I'm like, it's by far the one that no one knows about and is the most life-changing, best shit you've ever heard. I've been in the like self-improvement space, the YouTube sphere, the whole shebang for years, dude. Never heard anyone bring up this book, ever. And also, it's difficult to suggest, or it was difficult to suggest, because it only exists in book form. It does not exist in audiobook form, which is how a lot of us consume books, because we're playing games and we can listen to something. That's easy. Podcasts, audiobooks, usually what people rock. Anyways, this book is called With Winning in Mind by Lenny Bazin. The reason why I think this book is so good is because it's not some fucking asshole who's done like a weird shady business, made billions, and now has decided he's going to tell you not how he grew his business or has improved or changed his life, and instead tell you a bunch of random shit he's heard all his life around him in these weird self-improvement space. Anyways, instead, the guy who wrote the book is like a 5-time winning Olympic rifle shooter who then went on to train people to win another 10 Olympic medals in their separate respective sports. So the guy is not like some McAsshole has been. He's both been the player and the teacher, and the fucking book's great. Anyways, I'm hyped because for such a long time I haven't read the book. I know I need to go back and read it because there's so much shit in there that I love and I want to get back to. But it doesn't have an audiobook. And then randomly I was like, man, I just feel, I don't know, I feel like maybe at this point, maybe it's been an audiobook. Maybe the guy has uploaded an audiobook. I looked, he uploaded an audiobook like literally 2 months ago. And I'm like, weird happen chance that I had this thought immediately. Fate, love you. Anyways, bang. I'm reading it and I'm really enjoying it. It's all about like how to improve yourself and all, like how to change your mind. It's like the best book I think ever when it comes to how to actually change your brain. Anyways, but this is all going to tie together because one of the anime that I want to watch next, I think, is actually called Blue Lock, or I think it's called Blue Lock. Yeah, Blue Lock, which is weird. It's not normally an anime that I would enjoy. I know a lot of people who love haiku, like a lot of sports kind of anime that are fun. I've never watched any of those before, but this one looked fucking juiced. Blue Lock, I remember seeing trailers for it, and I just thought, dude, it looks rad. Even though it looks kind of goofy at times because it's soccer. It's like fucking soccer, and these guys just fucking go in sicko mode the whole time, like, I'm gonna lose my mind. It looks awesome, all right? So as far as what anime we should watch, or what anime I would suggest, I want to suggest that one because that's the one I want to watch next. Because I think I would really like to make a video about that anime, which for those guys who don't know, that anime is very much about ego and how, like, why is it that 90% of people who are at the top of their field when it comes to sports or even business or whatever, mainly sports, why is ego such a dominating thing always in there? Like, a lot of people think like, egotistical douchebag is annoying, but it's such a weird consistent thing where most people at the top of their league are like have extremely big egos. The show kind of goes into that and explains why ego can be really, really good. Having ego, having like a destructive amount of belief in something that should be very well impossible. And the reason why I bring that up as well alongside this book that I'm reading, or re-listening to I should say, is because that's what the book also kind of talks about. Literally the title of the book is called With Winning in Mind, and it kind of talks to you about what separates someone from being a winner versus someone who actually loses a lot. Now, it's not trying to be like, I'm a winner and you're a loser. It's more saying like, I analyzed Olympians for my entire career. What was the weird mental gymnastics that they were doing that actually made them believe that they could like drain a three-pointer constantly, and things like that. So I think it'd be really cool to make a video watching Blue Lock and then talking about this book and talking about how they both kind of marry together, especially considering I don't think not enough people know about this book or to give it a chance. But I think if I talked about some of the things it talks about in the book, I think people would be like, I gotta fucking read this book now or something, you know? Anyways. Red says, GRINN, you need to try an Elite Xbox controller. I'm not sure if that's the best. Already this PS5 controller that I bought is already chunky. And my hands are like, why God, please. And I don't really love the adaptive triggers. I don't know. I can see them being good on the Quest controller, like on the PS5 VR. That could be fun. But like when I'm actually playing a video game, I don't need to actually feel like the tension in the trigger increase. Oh, my chest. Red says, I love her twin tails on her default. Yeah, I was about to say, I think her default outfit, the face looks almost the best. Love says, I like the cyborg crime outfit as so far. Ooh, I haven't gotten them yet. I will say, I do like the prison outfits. Like even Deadshot's, who just has like the simple military vest on and like the pants are annoying. The outfit color is stupid because it's all prison shit. It's like green, orange, black-ish kind of And I'm like, well, this is just unfun. And also, you're always wearing fucking flip-flops in what is it called? I forget what it's called. McCrazy says Solo Leveling does look good. Have you seen the manga at all, or the manhwa? Have you ever seen the manhwa or just the anime? Because the anime people are like, dude. It's funny because I was reading it because I always had the intention of rereading Solo Leveling before I ended up reading or watching the anime. But a lot of people watch the anime and were like, fuck, I gotta go see the manga now. Manhwa, and it's so good. Seeing so many people be like, dude, this is sick. I will say though, the craziest thing that you can ever kind of like comprehend is that Solo Leveling, it has a really slow start, and at like the beginning of it's actually probably the weakest out of the entire series. So if you can just push past what I think is going to be this first season, so season 1 of Solo Leveling, which people are already in love with, is probably the worst that's going to be, essentially, because he eventually gets a power, I shouldn't say he gets a power, he gets a class that makes him like, it just changes the whole anime to be like, oh my god, yes, or cooking boys. Faceless says, I read some too. It looked, I'll look it up. Sounds very dark and interesting. Oh, the omniscient reader thing? Yeah. I will say though, as much as I'm really liking that anime, the reason why the person I was talking to last week suggested it is because I mentioned to him another manhwa. It's basically, to me, it's my favorite. Yeah, it may be my favorite manhwa of all time. I told you guys the premise beforehand. It's such a weird premise, and it doesn't start off that strong, but it's such a good show, manhwa. It's also, again, I don't know what it is, but it's a really neat feeling when you find something that just does not get enough love, and it's so good. Like, it makes you almost love that thing that much more, because you're trying to, like, make up for the fact that no one else is loving it, and it's so good, you know? So I feel that way about this manhwa, but that one premise is crazy. It's like, it's the same premise of, like, author, essentially, like, person who wrote a book or has read a book, being thrown into that world and then having, like, some slight advantage, but it's like an earned advantage, meaning it's not just like, I grabbed this grape and I ate the grape and now I'm God, and you're like, well, what the fuck is this? But instead it's like him being like, no, I remember this thing happened. I put myself here and then I talk to this person, then I befriend them, then maybe then I can be okay. So it's more like, feels like you're actually having to use your knowledge, which is cool. Lone says, I was thinking about watching Solo Leveling. Dude, do it. Do it. At least we can talk about it because I read the whole manhwa. So, yeah. What do you call it? Lone, have you seen, my brother was telling me that there's like 3 really goated anime that are released right now that I think if you actually want to watch anime, I think these are like great starting points. Lone will have to tell me the name of them because I'm so bad with names. I'm sure if I talk about them, Lone will know what it is. There is an anime with a guy who is like naked with an eagle as a head. I forget what it's called, but it's basically a guy who plays really shitty video games, plays an actual good video game, like a AAA, very expensively made video game. He plays that video game, and he ends up finding that really good video game also has bugs and also is shitty in its own unique way, and then he just thrives basically because the premise is that the guy plays such shitty video games and he makes them work, he beats them, so that when he plays a good video game, it's easy. It's just like disgustingly easy essentially. That one I heard from my brother said he said it's so funny, it's so engaging. That anime I would highly suggest to people. My brother's been talking up a lot about it. And then there's this anime that he also says is actually really, really funny, way funnier than he thought. I forget what this one's called as well, but the premise is basically a dude gets accidentally, like, not reincarnated. He gets pulled into another fantasy world, essentially, with these 2, like, amazing high schoolers that are, like, fucking, like, not high schoolers at all, but they're, like, hyper-achieving people who are adults, basically, in high school and shit. He ends up walking home one day with them, and then he teleports to, they get like pulled into a fantasy world, but he ends up having the healing stat, like that's it, so he's like a healer essentially, so it's like the fantasy setting with a healer, not that healer, calm down, it's not the goddamn Nightmare Hell healer anime. He ends up being the healer in this fantasy world, but really quickly, This like fucking badass, super fucking yoked out of her mind, hot, fucking looks like that one anime, GRINN, I think is what it's called, where she's that kind of badass, hardened lady kind of vibe, where she takes him and she starts training him because I think she knows that like the healers in this world can be the strongest, because they talk about how like theoretically if you had healing powers and you could heal yourself, then the process of like so long as you are healing, meaning you are recovering and you're not rewinding the damage done to you, you can progress. So the idea is, well, you could do basically 1,000 push-ups, destroy your muscles, then recover them quickly, your muscles then having basically like grown really, really fast, and then you could do it all again and again and again and again, so you could basically progress in like a week, which could take a year for other people. So that's the premise of the anime that I think is rad, but my brother was telling me that it's badass and it's funny, which is really cool. The wrong way to use healing. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Do you know the other one, Alone? The one with the magic eagle guy? But you know the anime I'm talking about. Okay, good. Well, you get that. The healer one's good too, but my brother has really been talking up that eagle anime. I'm waiting for it to finish, and I want to watch that one too. I'm keeping track of the good ones, okay? These manhwa to me are like it's just peaceful too. You know, it's not that I don't like anime too. It's just I don't know. I don't think I've ever taken a break from anime this long. It's been probably like 4 months. It's wild. Maybe less than 4 months, because I do think I tried watching Mishaya, which is not bad. I didn't like it, but I gotta go back and watch it because apparently it gets better. I trust Beastie. I think it was Beastie who was telling me that it gets much better. So I trust Beastie. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Ooh. What anime have you been watching, Lone, that has been good? Oh. What anime would you suggest me, Faceless? Old anime that I may have not watched. Also, with how much you guys have talked about Suicide Squad, it makes me really want to play it. But at the same time, also, I didn't mention this, guys. Yeah, this might be what we end on when it comes to rambling. How do I put this? It is weird. Very weird. Red says, so apparently Funimation shut down and everyone lost access to all their purchase detail anime and shows. That's awful. I do know they got bought by Crunchyroll, so are you sure they didn't re-put it into Crunchyroll system? Or did they just say, fuck it? That's terrible. That's sad. Anyways, let me ramble about this. Yeah, so by the way, if you guys missed it, you guys haven't seen, like collectively all of the 3 videos I made of Palworld has gotten like probably 40,000, nah, that's maybe too much, maybe like 30,000 views, which is crazy. Like, I've been uploading videos on the GRINN channel, or Mind Palace and Manhaw channel, for like probably 5 months, and we have not gotten that. So in 3 days, no, maybe a week, we have gotten that on our GRINN channel. The only thing I have to say, which is weird, is one is okay. The other one is, I mean, it's not like I do think that I used all of the research I learned from like finding out how to make something connect in a very niche audience, and I just used that in the guides. Like, I made sure I didn't waste time talking about like a random intro. I jumped right into what we were talking about. I tried to provide as much value as possible. Then I added music and engagement method to make it so that people stayed stimulated while watching. And yeah, I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know. Just for most of our videos get 200 views, so to have one to have like 30,000 is pretty wild for me. And yeah, I feel really weird about it, because to me, I both, one, I don't know how to explain how I feel. This is why I was like, should I talk about this? I don't even know. One, it's first of all, it's very neat. It's very cool to see, like, because for a while there, I was like, man, I'm learning all this stuff, and I see that it connects. Like, I think my takeaway for, like, oh, music and video is super important. It can make people excited to watch the rhythmic nature of this advice or of this story. So I think that's right. And I tried in my one video, and the video does much better, but you're like, am I missing something bigger or something like that? And VR is kind of a niche thing, kind of already. So there's that. And then I was like, but the thing that I come back to, and is a sentence that I think makes sense. Let me explain it like this. When I remember there was a time, and this really frustrated me back in the day, when I've been on YouTube for a long time, and one of the things I went through was basically like maximum defeatedness. I've been doing it for like 3 years at that point. I felt so just wrecked, basically. Like, as far as like movement is concerned, like, I'm like, sure, I should be seeing something, right? It's not that I'm impatient, but I thought I'd been seeing something. I think maybe like 4 or 5 years in. And I was like, what do I do, man? What's going on? And then there was a point where I just gave up, where I was just like, I don't know, man. I'm just not gonna try anymore. And then I just, but like, I love making videos. I love creating stuff. I love doing all that. So like, I'm not gonna stop making videos, but I ended up basically just stop not caring as much, basically. I ended up just throwing everything away and just doing, just like basically doing. And then a little game came around that was called Let It Die. And I was playing this weird, shitty indie game that I seen one person show a video of, and I thought, that looks really fun and weird, and it's free, so why not give it a try? I started playing, and I was like, this is really fun. Man, it's kind of like weirdly difficult in moments. But also, I find it's not that hard if you know what to do and you use this, and I thought, that's neat. And then I thought, I'm struggling with this moment in this game. Let me make a video for me, basically. Because again, I gave up. Like, I'm not making a video for you guys. I'm not making a video for anyone. I'm just making a video for my past self. That's always what I've said, and that's what I started to do. So then I made a video for my past self, and I was like, okay, let me do that. I made a video, put it up. No one liked it. Or no one, it was nothing. It was just whatever. And then I kept getting to moments where I just kept eating shit, basically. I was like, this part sucks. I'm going to make a video because my past self didn't know this, and if he did, he'd be able to get better and go forward. I made a video, threw it up, boom. No one watched it as well. And then I just kept doing that, and then eventually, people started seeing this video, and there was a part of me that was like, yeah, it's like a free-to-play game, so maybe people will eventually give this a try, so people will eventually try, but it wasn't like people will eventually see this video. It was, eventually someone's going to struggle with the same part that I did. Let me just help that person and also help my past self, and sure. Needless to say, I was making videos for basically no one but my past self. Me, very selfish nature. That's what happened. And then, eventually, some people started watching it, but I still was making videos for me in my dumb way. Where I was just like, hey, I think it'd be really fun and awesome to be able to say that I beat the game without spending any money, it's already a very hard game. Let me try to do that. And largely we did. I never really spent any money in the game. I did use death medals as the game just passively gives you for the last boss fight that I did, but you'd be able to get death medals just by playing the game anyway. So I feel weird about that. And then at the very end of the game, I spent $60 in the game after I beat it for free. I thought, good. And then I stopped playing. And then I started making some guides because people started liking them more. And eventually we got to like the era of Let It Die. But the era of Let It Die came from me not trying anymore. And then I thought, oh, good. Well, that must be the ticket then. I'm just not going to try. I'm just going to keep not trying. And then we fast forward 3 years, and not trying was not the answer. Not trying was not the answer. Absolutely not. Because when you don't try, you don't ever look at what people want. You don't ever try to understand what people are most interested in. And yeah, you live in a vacuum, and you're only creating content for like even you, kind of. It's weird. But then, eventually, after eating shit for like those 4 or 3 years, I was like, okay, what if I do the opposite? What if I try so fucking hard that I just break everyone else who's trying hard? And then I did that. And then I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's insightful. I'm understanding people more. I love the fact that I can kind of predict to some extent what people can really engage with and love, and like how I can keep your attention and make you excited and feel like you're gaining something from this. This is awesome. It's an awesome thing. It's like you painting and actually having an effect on someone by seeing your art. It's awesome. But then there's kind of also a method of like, okay, well now you're creating too much for what other people think. And then I tried to think on that for a long time, and then it happened exactly right around the time Power World came out. Right around the time, rewind 3 weeks, I said this. I said basically, after thinking about it a long time, I said, I think the mantra is, the goal should basically be for you to, and this is good for anything, I think. This is why I want to tell you guys about it. The goal should always be to basically be in pursuit of honing your skill or your passion or whatever it is. But the goal is basically selfish in nature. The goal is it doesn't matter whether you get 1,000 million views or whatever. What matters is you are making progress in creating something that you yourself really love and like and maybe would need. So to really get obsessed with like editing, knowing how to edit is awesome. Learning how to edit better is even better. Learning how to draw better is better. Learning how to make mod things is better. Whatever it could be. So learning, like taking really good care in the challenge that is progressing in your skill or whatever you've decided to do. For me, it's creation, getting better at creating things, getting better at editing, getting better at talking, getting better at performing, getting better at storytelling and things like that. But that's one half of the puzzle. I don't think you can't be good enough if you're just doing that. You eventually do need to create for someone else. Because otherwise you're just creating something for you and it'll always be in a vacuum. So the first part is be in pursuit of your skill, of honing your skill. And then the second part is do it for your love of your people. Do it for the love of your people. And that really is important too, because I think those are the two halves of the coin. One is honing a skill that you love dearly and then shaping that in whichever way you feel meaningfulness from. You can never lose that battle either. It's not dictated by viewership or anything like that. It's dictated by whether you are making an effort to improve at drawing, at talking, at whatever it could be, right? So you'll never lose that battle, and you'll always have an infinite challenge and progression to improve in that skill. Awesome. But then the second part is 80% of life is people. Like, you want to not do something just for little old you all the time. You want to understand people. You want to connect with people. That's why you have your parents. That's why you have your friends. That's why you have anybody. And the goal to try to understand people and to understand them and to understand how to make them laugh, how to make people feel important, how to make people feel fun, beautiful, fun, interesting, and things like that. Or the other half of this. There's other half of life, frankly. The pursuit of a goal that is worth dying for and trading over your life for, and then connection with people that you deeply care about. These are the two things I think you should focus on. So to me, I started thinking about that in regards to making content and all that stuff. So I thought, okay, well, I love VR still. That's not a weird thing for me. I love that. So I'm going to pursue VR, the skill of creating videos and VR videos. I want to just get better at and better at and better at. And then the second part of that, and I still want to understand you guys better. So I still want to research and look at like what people watch constantly and why people watch this for longer than why they watch that for shorter, and things like that. Like, that's all really, really fun and exciting in a lot of ways. And I don't want to let that down, by the way. But yeah, to me, I read around that time when I started coming to that conclusion. I was like, oh, well, Power World's coming out. I really feel passionate and interested, and I'm having fun with this game. Let me start making videos for it, just for me, basically. And then when I was editing it, I was like, oh, well, I'll make these changes because I think people who are watching this, the people who I love and people who I think would really enjoy this, would like it this way. So let me shape it for them. And then I put it up, and of course, there's the variable that would make sense too, which is Power is a very popular game right now, and the more eyes, more overall attention that people have on something, it makes your video go faster, sure. But the premise still remains, at least to me, that I think that's the equation. Is like, it's almost like selfishness and not selfishness. Selfishness and connection almost with others, that to me I think could possibly be the North Star that could lead you to actually succeeding a lot, or creating something that people genuinely connect with. But anyways, yeah, that's my weird takeaway for like why those videos maybe were doing well, is because I found that balance of the two. The issue is it's really hard to keep those perfectly in balance all the time. One usually subsumes the other in a weird way. But anyways, let me catch up on chat. Sorry for taking so long. I gotta scroll up because I want to actually read what everyone else is saying. Forgive me. Oh. Red says, congratulations. You deserve. Thank you, Red. Crazy says, almost 50K grin. Happy for you. You did. Thank you. Everyone's been very sweet. To me, I'm less like, yeah, I got it, and more like, why is this happening? You know, I mean, I get the service level power popular. You made a guide. Of course, it's gonna do well. But I've been doing that a lot, my guy. I did that. Like when I was really trying, I made guides on popular things, and it still was never really doing it. Like we made a guide on Dead Island 2 that I thought was really good, but it never really did anything. Lone says, let's see. I wrapped up season 2 of Spy X Family. I'm not sure what I'm gonna watch next. Either the detective already did. Ooh, are you gonna crank through that one? Ooh, I'm curious. All right, Faceless says anime suggestion is Detective Conan, Reincarnated Javas. I heard great things about that one. It is okay to pick up girls. Great, fucking amazing. I watched that one with my favorite anime. S-Cry, don't know what that is. Castlevania. Castlevania to me, I think is awesome, but it's definitely for the person that likes anime. The arts side of anime. To me, I watched the first couple of episodes. I thought this is awesome, but I'm just not really engaging with like the Transylvanian culture aspect of it, you know. But Crazy said, just like when they use magic in grocery stores so that people will purchase more products. In regards to what? Lone says, oh, music. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, you know that makes sense. Crazy. Yes, I misread. Dyslexia. Music. You said, yeah. Music to me. Well, to me, I think music helps keep your brain engaged. So like, if I'm talking like a bunch of random bullshit for like 10 minutes, 3 minutes, if you hear the difference, this is something really cool. I wish I would have known this sooner. So if there's anyone who's ever interested in like engagement and like keeping people's attention, the best way to think about it is like this. If you heard a beat like this, not really much of a beat, but still, just a consistent tap, right? If you heard this for, let's say, a minute, would you pay attention to it? Or would your brain slowly start to be like, your brain's slowly starting to take it out of the equation. You're stopping thinking about the beat so much or the background thing, and instead you're just focusing on my voice, and that probably will take you 30 seconds, maybe for some people it takes you 15 seconds, but if I did something like this, now your brain starts to pick up on that again. So that's to me what is engagement. That's what music does. So in the same way that I'm saying, like, let's talk about how to do this, and now you go like, let's talk about how to do this. And then I start rambling about like, go here, do this. You're gonna want to go here, do this, and go here. It just doesn't match the pace of my voice at all. Whereas if you hear, the tone of it and the pace of it makes you almost lean in like, okay, things are speeding up, things are getting faster. So if I say, go here, do this, go here, do this, now go here, we're gonna do this because we do that. It increases the pace of the thing, and your brain is almost, the tempo is setting the engagement of it, constantly pulling you forward or pulling you back. That to me is what I mean when it comes to like talking and pacing and things like that. Lone says, I remember I saw a video in Let It Die when I first came out playing it. It made it to like floor 20, got stuck, stopped playing. Then a few years later, decided to look up a guide on what to do, and found GRINN's channel. Let's go! Yeah, I know. In fact, that was one of my biggest regrets in Let It Die a little bit. And I should have known it was a problem, but again, I just made videos for me. So like, looking back on it, I should have accounted for how the viewer would basically, what problem the viewer would have, not just my own insular problem. So for instance, one of the things that is a problem which happens, I think in like level 20, or it's either in level 11, maybe 11 or level 11 or level 13, but basically Let It Die did this thing really early on where you have to go up, down, over, up, down, and then you can progress. I basically was making a Let's Play video of it, and then I just cut that weird, because it was just bullshit. It was just random, like trying to find a way forward, but you just go forward basically. But most people are like, why am I going to the right? No, I must be lost. What do I do? And I should have accounted for that, but I didn't, because I just thought, oh, you just keep going forward and eventually you come back up here because it's only the route you can go. But people were like, why the fuck did you cut out the one part of you going right? I was lost for 10 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I should have probably left that in the video. I apologize. Lone says, Grinn's channel and been a viewer ever since. Let's go! Red's the same way? Damn. Also, Faceless says, for more anime, Blood-S, Skeleton Knight, fantastic. Recreator, that one I have not yet seen, but I heard great things. Devil Part-Timer, have not seen season 2, but season 1 was amazing. Wise Man's Grandson, that one I kind of enjoy. I think, yeah, the Wise Man's Grandson has a really strong beginning. And then it gets into, like, especially the last 4 episodes are really like, I don't give a fuck about what's happening, essentially, but yes. Phases says, I remember how hard you prepped for 4 Horsemen. And yeah, man. Oh, I don't know. I always just, yeah. There was definitely a point where I stopped enjoying that game. And I was playing it because people were really liking it. And I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. But man, that was probably right around the time where I was like, what am I doing? You know? Oh. Red's popping it. Raid says, hi, Raid. Not much. I slept in. Fluff says, my brother and I were getting into Battleborn, so he found videos on the game, and I happened to be GRINN back in the Jack Frost days. Whew. And also the Battleborn days, man. Those were. Let me finish reading what Fluff said. Videos in the game happened to GRINN back in Jack Frost days. Been off and on viewer for a while until I joined the stream. Yeah, let's go. I was gonna say, man, yeah, it's tough, man, because there's been moments like this is the thing that's awesome and bad about what I just talked about. You know how I talked about, like, the main thing I think you should judge yourself is by the development of your skill. That's something that you can always improve on. Like if Lone ever wants to keep improving on drawing, he knows that unless he just had, I'm sure Lone knows this, but let's say Lone did know this. How you learn something is just by acquiring a shit ton of good, high-value data, learning it, and then doing it, and then that's it. That's how you improve. It's not that complicated. But the skill of basically going out and finding, like, really good information is something that you'd be surprised not how many people know how to do that. If you wanted to get better at drawing, you would go, like for me, I would go to YouTube. I'd try to find as many videos as I possibly can that talk about drawing in the way that I think that would be useful to me. And then I would go and maybe find some books or audiobooks that talk about drawing as well and how to get over your hiccups. And then again, I would suggest With Winning in Mind, because it tells you how to actually change your brain and make it so that all that stuff actually, you do that stuff. You don't hold yourself back by telling yourself that you're terrible at something just because you're not great at the start. Things like that. Anyways. But there's always something to do in progression in that kind of sense. So there's always stuff that you can improve upon. But I look back at, like, the Battleborn days, and man, I think I could have done it. Like, I think I could have, if I was really, I was just shooting. I think that was also around the time where I stopped trying, where I was just doing stuff. And hey, that was one of the weird bumps that happened as well. Like, I didn't care. I stopped trying, so I just made videos where I was screaming as a healer how shitty my tank is for, like, diving fucking into 50,000 enemies. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? My healing's not that good. And I think people enjoyed that, but it was me not trying at all. But there's so many times where I look back at that moment. Maybe it was the Don't Starve moment, where, like, if only I could go back in time and do those again, I think I could fucking nail it. Like, because I know why they were succeeding and why I just didn't notice. Like, I had this thing back in the day, which was something that I kick myself. Like, I remember my first video series I ever did that was okay that I actually tried on was covering a game called Don't Starve. I had this weird idea where I thought, man, the fan art in this series is awesome. The people who make Don't Starve art are brilliant. Let me showcase their art at the beginning of every single episode. And that's what I did. I just saved a bunch. It was really easy. It also very fucked up. I basically just ran around Google search and just saved a bunch of this fan art and then just threw it up on screen at the beginning of every Let's Don't Starve video, which is actually a really good way to, like, have engagement, have people care about the footage and all that stuff. But the problem was I didn't always make the point. A lot of the fan art people didn't write their name in the artwork itself, which I didn't go through the effort of finding out who was the artist to then make it so that they were getting a proper shout out and getting the proper credit. We definitely could have fixed that. But that was a really good idea, basically being like, hey, there's a lot of creative people in this community who are really into the fan art of this game. Why don't I actually make a Let's Play of it, and then also add like a shout at the beginning of every Let's Play, showcasing these people's brilliant art. A really good idea, and could have been like a cornerstone moment for a community building type thing. I never did that. I just kind of did it because I thought it was fun. And also I did it in not the best way. I should have definitely put their name in there. And yeah, but there was like moments like that. Same thing with the Let It Die, the Battleborn era, where to me I look back on that and I think there was definitely things you could have made, could have done, could have talked about that would have drastically helped the community and also really helped get the community going. And I just didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was just making videos trying to make people laugh. I was trying to be like a personality channel, like Tobuscus and shit, because everyone was fucking in love with Tobuscus's like weird meta, essentially. That and PewDiePie and all that. Lone says, speaking of drawing, I'm almost done. One of my latest, just finished doing the color. Let's go, Lone. Lone, have you seen that PewDiePie video? Guys, I don't watch PewDiePie this much, by the way. I mean, I do. He uploads like once a month, so sure. but what do you call it? He recently made a video where he was like, I'm going to practice drawing for 1 hour or 10 minutes every day. And I think sometimes he did over 10 minutes, but sure. He made a really good amount of progression. People were like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, good for him. I've been trying for like 20 years, and I have not gotten that to that point yet. Or it took me so much longer to get to where he is when it comes to drawing. So then he got a lot of encouragement from that video, and then he made a second part where he drew for not 10 days or a month, sorry, 30 days. He drew for 100. And holy shit, people were like, fuck, what's going on? And it's a really cool thing because to me, one half it's talking about the active like talent, like people throwing that around of like maybe PewDiePie is just naturally talented at drawing. But a lot of the artists are coming forward and saying, actually, he's doing something that like can be tracked, that it will improve your art, which is basically constantly going back and like adjusting his thing. Like basically, he's like going back and seeing his old work. Like it'd be the same thing as if Red was making 3D models and went back and. Well, it'd be like if Red was making 3D models and he's like, I'm really not good at drawing hands, or I'm not really good at modeling eyes. Let me go and look at how to model eyes. Let me figure out how people do that. Let me get a lot of data points about how to do that. And then let me try to improve my eyes. Let me sit with that for a little bit. So then you just improve your eyes. Great. But then you would go back and at your old 3D models and you try to like see where you went wrong. And you try to fix them by looking back and adjusting your old past work. And that really would help. And yeah, to me that always just makes sense. Like, but that's what he really is doing good at. Is he's like good at looking back at his issues, his like failures, and then being like, how do I fucking fix this? Like, I don't like that the hands look stupid. Let me go and look up how to make hands for like 20 minutes, and then really try to understand how to do that. And then going back and fixing your other stuff, because I've had that same issue where like, oh, I really want to understand the pace of this video and make it feel more engaging. And then I watch a bunch of videos and adjust some stuff, and then I get a really good pace going. But then I move on to the next problem, or the next thing, and the next thing, and then that thing I just learned kind of atrophies. Whereas, if I were to then go back and then apply that thing I just learned to all my other instances, then it would help settle in that information and help you actually adapt and evolve quite quickly. And then I think it actually really works, you know. But anyways, people are saying that's why he's improved so much about drawing, which I think he's definitely got to that point where like, Jesus Christ. Oh, really? Oh, I fucking love PewDiePie. I think he's, I really have enjoyed. And again, he's had a bunch of shit in the past where people were saying that he's a racist and all that stuff. But I remember even back in the day, man, when I heard him getting in all that drama. I don't know, man. It could just be me. But like, I do not like judging people how I would not judge myself, basically. So like, I think we've all said stupid shit, like said something that we even regret. But I don't think you could say one thing in your life, and then it determines who you are as a person for the entirety of your life going backwards and forward. I don't think that's right. And to me, even though you say one thing one time, I don't think that's indicative of your entire personality, of your entire belief structure. You know what I mean? Like, again, my thought is always, I would like to judge people how I would myself essentially. So like I've said stupid things that I'm not proud of when I was a kid. I say it once, I'll say it again, but we used to use the R word basically. Instead of saying someone's being dumb or someone's being silly, we would say the R word. I don't look back on that fondly, but I did say it. But does that make me a bad person? No. I regret saying it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't think it's indicative of who I am as a person. I don't want to say it anymore, and I would like to move forward. You know what I mean? So I don't like that. But as far as like, to me, I think PewDiePie and his philosophy kind of breakdown videos are some of the best that I've watched from him. Those are the videos I love the most. But yeah, I think he's genuinely done so much random other shit. Like he's been crazy out of his mind, screaming with like a bald cap on, with a sledgehammer, spitting everywhere, drink his own piss. Like he's one of the guys who's genuinely done it all and come out the other side being what seems like a really good measured person, essentially. Fluff says people can and change and grow. Yeah. To me, I fucking dislike this. Like that was the whole thing about cancel culture. That like I hate when you hear things like cancel culture or triggered or all this shit, because I feel like people just use it as like a blanketed term that means nothing nowadays. But I will say I deeply dislike when people basically pretend that they are perfect, like that they've never said something stupid and judge celebrities or judge influencers of any kind so much harder than they would judge themselves. Like it drives me nuts. Like you're not perfect. You made mistakes too. You fucked up a ton. Why are we acting like we all didn't say stuff when we were younger to even our friends? I didn't do it publicly. It doesn't matter. You still said it. Like you still said it, and maybe in that time meant it, or even didn't know what you were saying. So like it's all just crazy. Again, why do you want to live in a world where so many people are enemies? Like that's such a high bar to clear that someone who never fucking deviated from being perfectly kind all the time, never said something stupid, never said something they regret. Crazy. But anyways, I hear a lot of people talk some shit about that when it comes to PewDiePie for a long time. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense. One thing a person says on a stupid bridge for it to just cripple their whole morality, despite the person has done tons of good things, is weird. Fluff says, Felix did that. He's moved on. Sadly, the internet tends to hold it. Yeah. Well, to me, it does and it doesn't, Fluff. Like, that's one thing that I think is nice about him, is that I genuinely think people could bring it up and he would just be like, yeah. Like, I genuinely think that there's a point where, like, you determine, people talk about this, where it's like, what would happen if when everyone's screaming, like, you're a bad person, you should leave, you're canceled, all this stuff. What would happen if a person just said, no. I mean, I'm going to be here tomorrow, and you're going to scream at me some more, and eventually, either you're going to get tired, or you're going to hang out with me, because I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to stay here right now. There's also the argument that you can't be canceled because it just helps your notoriety, all that stuff. Sure, whatever. I'm not sure about all that. But what I do know is that I think it's, again, you determine who you are. You know what I mean? It's like the people who cancel or who are vindictive and who are evil to you don't have really any control over you. They can say shit to you, but you also can just not listen or not let it affect you. Now, it's easier said than done for sure. But yeah, you don't have to let another person's perception of you corrode your perception of yourself. And I think that's something that it's been nice to see for him, where it seems like he has gotten to the point where he's kind of just like, you know? Red says, honestly, those big three, I used to watch Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and I still watch Jack sometimes, but I highly depends on the video and what he's doing or playing. For example, I love his playthrough, like for God of War Ragnarok. Yeah. I definitely think there are people who, yeah. It's funny because I find Markiplier is I don't watch him a lot, but I do find I enjoy him when there's like a new indie game and it's contained within one video. Like I remember when I watched him play Sucker for Love, and that I think is where I think that's his strongest format for who he is. Like, 'cause he's really good about that. But as far as like the really long-winded series is, that to me I find I'm like, okay, I don't know, I don't know. Jack, I think, is also good for this, stuff like that. Vice versa, I think Jack's strong suit is when he does long-form playthroughs. And PewDiePie's strong suit is just him doing whatever, him just doing a lot. He tends to just do whatever, whatever, basically. Fluff says, I've seen plenty of comment sections for recent videos that will dredge up nonsense about content creators that have long since died off or been debunked. So yeah, the internet doesn't move on. Or yeah, there's that. Yeah, I guess my argument is that you don't have to let it determine who you are or let it affect you, I guess. But I will say that is something that's frustrating, especially when like things have been debunked. When it's just like, man, all it takes is for the truth to be less interesting than the lie, and most of the time it is. And then people just never will look. And also, if you know like anything about the human brain, most people don't want to change, especially the older they are. They don't want to actually change their take on things usually. Usually you're pretty set in stone when you get older. It's harder for you to change your mind, at the very least. And yeah, it's one of the things that's unfortunate. So especially the more you say stuff, the more you type stuff out and you write about how this person sucks and how this person, you couldn't believe that they did this thing, it just reaffirms it in your brain as being something that you believe and that you've said, and it's harder for you to change the way you think about that thing. But yes, I think it's what's a good adage? The internet does never forget, but you don't have to let the internet determine who you are, which is nice. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I love this stream. This is great. This is great. This is probably one of the most chatty streams we have. I've never seen the chat move so much, guys. It was great. Great talking to you, especially about the Suicide Squad thing. You guys talking about the end game of that game and legendaries and the sets made me way more excited to get to it. Because I'm kind of going back and forth in my head of like, should I dominate Power World right now and try to like really get out and capitalize on people who are enjoying the videos that I'm making right now. But also I don't want to get too in my head and make videos that I don't think people will like, because I don't know. So yeah, but there will likely be a video on the Mind Palace and Manage channel today. It is going to be more of a long form video showcasing a creepy level that I found in Bone Lab. We will play other VR games, by the way. I'm just kind of focusing on Bone Lab because it's kind of easy to do right now. And then we will, for me, the rest of my day is going to be trying to make this Pal World video that I want to make about breeding and all that, which I think I wanted to ask you guys something about Pal World, but I forget what it was. Shit, it was something like, I don't know what it was. I can't think of what it was. I think it was something like, it was something about breeding, but I just don't know what exactly it was about in regards to that. I mean, message Fluff on Discord if I remember what it was, because I thought it was something that Fluff probably would know. But I'm gonna message you later, Fluff, because I don't know. I can't think of it right now. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully I can see you on Thursday. I don't know if we'll be playing Power World first or Justice League, Suicide Squad first, but probably Suicide Squad, probably, but we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I hope I can see you once again, and goodbye. Also, again, there's a video coming out later today. So yeah. I'll say goodbye, Rain. Rain says, wish I could have caught. Yeah, I got you, Rain. We just love having you. Your sleep schedule is a nightmare. We get it. We've all been there.